Right. Your rags want re-soaking, don't they, Dave?
Yep. Can you explain to us what you've got here and what you're going to do?
Right, well, actually what we're trying here, and we've used it for a few weeks, and the dogs seem to react to it quite well, is actually dried blood. It's the garden fertiliser. It's very strong, but we noticed it when a couple of our own dogs went crazy for the smell of it. We've tried it a few times on hounds, and it has the same effect. So what we're going to do this morning is that Dave's going to go through those woods, and Martin and I are going to go around the outside of them. And what we guess that the hunt are going to do, that the meat is further over in that direction, they will come towards those woods, and they'll come to a trail which we will have laid round it. Now what we hope to do is cause confusion to the pack, and hopefully get them to split. And then the huntsman has got a control problem. He's got to get them all back together again, all of which is going to take him time.
If you know the area they're hunting, then it's a good idea to do this. It's still very experimental. We're not sure of the dosages and whether the pack will respond to it or not. Some packs do, some packs don't. So it's my thought is that as you're walking through woods, you might as well be dragging this behind you, as long as you know roughly where you're going and where you expect the hounds to be taken. When the hunt actually meets, as you'll no doubt see later on, there are different tactics that are involved with hollering and horn blowing, and also the use of anti-mate spray, which also is another product which helps to mask the scent of the hunted fox, which we'll be using today as well at certain stages, like gate entrances and that sort of thing, where you expect the hounds to be taken.
Going out in the early morning to lay a false trail for the hounds to follow is just the beginning of one day's work for the Hunt Saboteurs in Sussex. They are dedicated to saving the fox from the hunt, while the hunt is equally dedicated to its destruction. Both hunters and anti-hunters are convinced of the righteousness of their cause. Neither side begins to understand the outlook of the other. But however barbaric the hunt may seem to the saboteurs, they've the support of large numbers of country people, especially the farmers over whose land they ride.
When the hunt want to come here, they ring us up, they contact us, they say as far as possible where they're going to go and what they're going to do, and that's fine, and we're organised for them. But when we get foot people climbing all over our fences, running through sheep, and we've had a disease problem on the farm, and we don't want it spread. The hunt know this, they've contacted us, and they've respected us. But then you get this lot out, there's nobody knows where the footpaths are, they say they've got maps, you ask them for maps, and they haven't. They run around with these sprays. You know, it's just not on.
Hey, get over here! Come on, off that! Come on! Over here! Person over there, somebody lost. Get over here! Somebody lost.
Oh, they're fighting among themselves.
Somebody lost.
Don't damage that fence.
Get over.
Come on, get off that land. Get off that land. Come on.
Has he got permission to go on?
Yes, he's a friend of mine. He lives in the village.
The Hunt Saboteurs are a committed organisation of young people who believe in their absolute right to prevent the death or suffering of animals whenever and wherever it occurs. The pop group aren't directly involved, but they're sympathetic. This is a benefit concert to help raise funds for the good work.
Let you down when they feel obligated and they want to move around. Oh, just let them go their way.
Whatever the hunting fraternity may believe, the saboteurs are all volunteers. Some are students, some unemployed, some quite ordinary young working people. All of them freely give their own time and money for a crusade of quite extraordinary intensity.
Well, good evening, everybody. Thank you for turning up to this meeting. My name's Phil. I'm chairman of the local Hunt Saboteurs Association group. Now, as you're here, I presume that you're probably all opposed to blood sports anyway, but I'd like to just spend a few minutes talking about the case against blood sports, and in particular against fox hunting. You must remember that the hunt is solely for sport. It's irrelevant whether the fox is a pest or not to a hunter. It's handy if he can make pretend the fox is a pest, because then he can persuade a gullible public into believing that fox hunting is necessary. Hunters will sometimes claim that the fox is killed rapidly by the hound savaging it, breaking its neck, or something like that. Well, you can see from this picture, this is all part of the fox. It's been disemboweled alive. I don't think under any stretch of the imagination can one assume that that wasn't a painful and particularly uncomfortable method of dying. Well, here's another one. It shows the fox a bit clearer. As you can see, the top half of the fox here hasn't been touched by the hounds, but the bottom end is just been torn to pieces. There you can see the hunt riding away in the background. I suppose they don't really care too much. During October, the hunt will be actually training the hounds to hunt rather than just to kill. But by November, we've got the opening meet. This is the big occasion for the hunt when the local press comes along and all the average members of the public go along to pat the hounds. Well, at the opening meet, which is the beginning of the formal part of the hunting season, we'll generally go along and parade around with banners to try and put the other side of the case, particularly as there's likely to be press present. We won't normally bother with banners and demonstrations and things at hunts. It's only really at big occasions like the opening meet and on Boxing Day and other such occasions. Because clearly if we do wave banners around and draw attention to ourselves, the hunt know we're there, and this clearly minimises the effect that we're likely to be able to have, because they'll take actions to try and avoid our activities.
As long as they do it quietly, don't upset anybody. I think anybody's entitled to their own views.
I've got my own opinions about that.
Your own opinions, are you prepared to share it with us? Excuse me, madam.
Yes.
I wonder if you'd mind telling me what you feel about these young people who demonstrate against hunting.
Well, in fact, I think that there's nothing wrong in demonstrating as long as you do it passively. And I think on both sides, I think it's very wrong if the huntsman or any members of the field, if they are in any way, they raise their crops, as the press do say. But in fact, we have a very friendly lot of antis, as you call them out, and they're very nice, and they open gates for us, and they're very pleasant. So we normally get on with them very well.
Thank you, ma'am.
And everyone's entitled to their own view anyway, aren't they?
What do you feel about the hunters then, Andy?
I think they're scum. I think they're basically bloodthirsty scum. That's my opinion of them.
I think a lot of the field, the whole of the hunt, quite a lot of them don't. I don't think they really realise what they're doing, because a lot of them are just young girls from the age of about 12 to 16.
They're brought up with it, aren't
they? Yeah, and they've sort of been brought up with the fact that hunting is a part of their life. And I don't think at that sort of age, 12, 13, whatever, they're going to really realise what it all involves. But the older people, like the actual hunters, they know damn well what's going on. And I think they should be much more civilised and reject it all, because it's disgusting. It really is disgusting.
Good morning. Morning. 3 Fitzgeralds.
Quite honestly, I lack the words to tell you what I think of people who hunt. I've seen them wearing RSPCA badges. It's as contradictory as Myra Hindley wearing an NSPCC badge. It's utterly ridiculous that, these people often are in animal welfare groups, and there just doesn't seem to be any sense in their attitude.
I just can't understand how anybody in their right minds can behave in such a way. I really can't. I think they must be mad. They must be maniacs and sadists. I just don't know why people can possibly do this or say they derive any pleasure at all out of it. I just put it on a par with Hitler murdering Jews during the war. He must have enjoyed it, but he was mad. And I think the same applies to a lesser extent to the hunters. I don't mind what anybody does. They can risk themselves as much as they like. They can go riding around the countryside to their heart's content, as long as it's not bothering anybody else, as long as it's not damaging or destroying anything else. But the fact with hunting is that it is doing harm. It's not just out for a great ride. They're killing animals. They're torturing and slaughtering foxes, and that's what I'm against.
We are a serious opposition to them. We do have an effect, and I think on under certain circumstances, they see us as a real threat. We are a great nuisance to them because we are effective. I think we aggravate them by being there, but they aggravate us too.
To what extent do you feel that you have the right to break the law?
I think most of the time there's no question of the law being broken. We don't actually do anything that does break the law as far as I see it. We don't destroy any property or anything like that. That would be needless, really. There's no need to go and destroy property, to break down fences, things like that. All we do is try to put ourselves between the hunters and the fox. And that's not breaking any law that I've ever come across.
Okay, right. I'm the legal officer for the Hunt Saboteurs Association. I'm the person that you're supposed to be elected to tell you all this. One of the things that any of us are most likely to end up in court for is because we've actually been on the SAB, just being there. Now, this ties up with the whole question of civil liberties, about whether people have the right to peacefully do something about that which is not right. Now, a breach of the peace, or an action likely to cause the breach of the peace, is likely to occur where at any meeting of people, your presence or their presence is likely to put somebody, whether it's you, them, or another person, in real fear, true fear of physical injury to somebody. Now, it's never been argued in court that by being there, we are in real fear of physical injury by some silly person on a horse. But that's exactly what happened. But it's very, very rare that any member of the hunt is taken to court for breach of the peace. And it's usually only after they've done something far worse than that. But SABs are being taken to court for this all the time. Perhaps you don't realise that the police have all got you on file as being urban terrorists not connected with the IRA, so that gives a new insight into stabbing.
We get accused of being Marxist anarchists, accused of being paid, given a lunchbox. We enjoy going out. I mean, in a way, that's true. I mean, if you're going to say something, it's enjoyable. But I mean, we get up unearthly times in the morning to get to places. 3 o'clock in the mornings, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. We're out the whole day running around after these people around the country. It's 100% of the people aren't politically motivated at all.
Hunting's been going on under both governments. I don't think it's going to make much difference whoever's in power. And that goes for the extremist parties as well. I don't think that hunting really bothers them one way or another.
So you're not against hunting because they're upper class people?
Oh, good grief, no. A lot of them are working class. Well, maybe not the hunters so much, not the fellows in the red coats, but the hunt followers, the fellows with the dogs who send them down the holes to root out the fox or hare or whatever they're rooting out at the time. No, I think it's something that cuts right across class boundaries.
If you look at it practically, there's absolutely no point in doing this sort of thing through political motivation. I mean, if you're an extreme left-winger, you're not going to get at the ruling classes by sabotaging fox hunts. It's just nonsense. I mean, if you take our case, for example, we even buy the Daily Telegraph every day. You can't get much more non-socialist than that. We've got a mortgage and, goodness gracious, all these trappings of capitalist society. No, this is absolute nonsense about politically inspired.
The saboteurs may not be politically inspired in the narrow sense, but they do share a common ideology. Most of them are vegans, and that doesn't just mean that they don't eat meat. As far as possible, they avoid animal products altogether, and that includes fish, eggs, butter and cheese. Instead, most of them subsist on health foods, wholemeal bread, brown rice and lentils. They also try to share a different philosophy about animals from the rest of us. To them, man and beast should be in partnership, without cruelty, without exploitation. Animals have as much right to life as human beings, and as much right to happiness. So the Hunt Saboteurs are also opposed to the destruction of wildlife, to factory farming, and to experiments on animals, and they use any means they can find to make their point.
Hunting is just one aspect of our general attitude towards animals. There's vivisection and meat eating, all these sort of things. And hunting just seemed to be one particular aspect that we could do something positive about, and we could actually help to alleviate the cruelty that was going on against animals.
When you say you could do something positive about it, what do you mean?
Well, hopefully, if we're successful, we can actually save lives, individual lives. It may be on a very small scale, but our point of view is that the individual life matters.
On a Saturday morning in November, the Sabs move into position close to a hunt meet at a village pub.
Hi, Jane.
Most of them are armed with aerosol sprays of a product designed to throw male dogs off the scent of a bitch on heat.
Have you got any anti, mate?
Yeah.
Have you?
Yeah.
Good.
We spray it in front of the hounds because in case it gets in their eyes, so it does sting slightly, but it doesn't hurt too much, as I'll demonstrate.
You want to go down that road, and then you want to go, you know...
It's the Maypole pub, isn't it?
It's the Maypole, yeah, it's not far down there.
Okay then.
Right.
Me and
You and Sally,
you walking down that?
you want to get down there quick now, because it's 11 o'clock.
We'll come back, tell you which way they're going,
Yeah.
and then...
What we might do is you might sort of just poodle down there just to pick you up.
Well, we'll walk down.
Right.
Ready?
Just wander down. Well, if not too many of you go down, because if just those two do go down, then they're...
Yeah, they'll see which way they move.
It's not far down there.
Although they had no advance warning, the hunt are already aware that the saboteurs are out. In an effort to outmaneuver the hunt, the Sabs have split into 3 groups.
If they stop and draw cover fairly soon, we'll be the first ones there. If they get too far ahead of us, we'll send the drivers back to the vehicles, and they'll take the vehicles round in front of us. Okay? So the drivers better be ready to come back here. But like I say, keep together and keep a distance away from the hunt. Don't get too close, okay?
If they're coming our way, obviously, we'll just bundle into the wood. If they're not, we'll have to come back probably to the cars and drive around. But it doesn't matter, because we've got another group here and another group here. So whichever way they go, one group will be on them straight away. But I think we've got quite a good chance. So better make a move, really, because it's time's plodding on.
But the plan has already gone wrong. The hunt have moved off early.
Straight down. What, down towards that Tudor Rocks place?
Down,
Well, you've walked down to about here,
yeah, they've carried on down the lane.
Down the lane?
Yeah, we don't know where they've turned off from there, but...
Down
There's
the
a lot
lane?
of distance to catch up by
How many is
car.
there?
We've got to go by car.
How many riders?
Can't really see,
50?
could you?
No, we didn't
Couldn't
get
see any
that
red
close
coats because they
had
were in the
to-
front, so we better get
Right,
moving.
we better get moving then.
Yeah.
Instead of drawing a cover close to the meet, the hunt have hied off in the one direction the Sabs fail to anticipate. So the hunters have to be hunted, tracked down before the saboteurs can go into action.
Until we know exactly where they are. But we should be able to catch them as they come out. That's the way they'll cross. You look at the map, there's no way they're going to go down into Maresfield.
That's,
Where are they now?
we're on this side, aren't we?
No.
No, we're on
that's it.
We're up
They're in the sort of a square.
there, where Brenda's pointing.
That's it.
You leave your car here?
Yeah.
Well, where am I supposed to go?
Well, you stay here for the mo. Yeah, you go right. You go back round the other side where we just come from.
And then come back here.
Yeah.
Right, do you want to get inside? We'll see you in a minute.
To reach the hunt, the saboteurs have got to run across farmland, and this quickly arouses the anger, not just of the hunt themselves, but of those farmers who are in favour of fox hunting.
Are you on a footpath?
Yeah, over there.
Are you on a footpath there?
Is that a footpath?
Why you can go any direction from over there.
Why don't you bugger off?
It's the truth, isn't it?
What?
Give us a load of spiel about having to go up the road. Footpath's over there. And you know it.
You're talking too much.
Come on.
You're talking too much.
Why are you saying that you don't own this land? You don't even know it, do you?
Why did you go away?
Oh yeah, you don't even
Kind
know
of
it.
keep to the road. There's no footpath here. There's
Hey.
only one over
Hey.
there. You can't cross
Careful.
the land.
You're on the go, man. You're on the go. You liking it, are you? Hey? You liking it, are you? Really?
Break your bloody neck.
Will you now? Well, wait, how come you won't let us on the footpath?
You are trespassing.
We're not. We're not trespassing. You gave us that spiel before. It's all right. Come on.
Would you kindly get on the road?
Get
Because I'll
back
help
on
and break
the
your
road.
neck at the same time.
Come on, it's all right.
You
We're getting on the
go
footpath. We're on the footpath over there. Come on, really? I'm not bullshitting. They're bullshitting.
Right.
How's Windy Butcher's over here going to carry on? Come on, it's okay. Come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. Yeah, I know. He looks clever, but he's not. Come on.
I think it's a footpath here, but I'm a bit lost.
I have hunted foxes for a long, long time. I also farm. I don't know whether you've seen the damage foxes do. They take lambs, they take chickens. They don't live the way they used to live. They used to live in an area. One fox, one wife. They married for a lifetime. And one could control them that way. They've now started packing. They live in semi-detached houses, if you like. They take the lambs, and the only other way of killing them is by snaring them. The illegal gin trap, the snare, or the shotgun. And you can gas them. Now, if you shoot them, and you don't kill them, that fox dies a terrible bloody death over about 7-8 months of gangrene and lead poisoning. This way, he gets killed, and he gets killed humanely. And it is the only way and the best way of catching foxes. That is the other side. This is the most humane way of killing a beautiful animal, and we all respect him. We all respect him. But you see, all the publicity, these people are out for a day out to disrupt. It takes all sorts to make a world. But this is not only a pleasure for people having a day out on a horseback, but it is also, from the farmer's point of view, a very, very necessary occupation. You take that thing away from me now.
Some farmers are opposed to hunting, and the saboteurs occasionally win the support of a landowner, but climbing over gates and fences tends to make them unpopular. The law of trespass allows them to cross private land, provided that they do no damage, carry no weapons, and leave by the shortest route as soon as the owner or his agent asks them to do so. And sometimes asking isn't quite the way it's put. By the time the Sabs find the hunt, the farmer is already demanding that they get off his land.
Get back up on that
Most of the time, the mounted huntsmen ignore the saboteurs, but here, cavalry and infantry confront one another.
What, are you going to spray the roses or something?
Oh, well, it's a good idea to spray the roses, but well, we thought we might spray the ground.
Say what?
Thought we might spray the ground to put the hand off.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
You're anti-fox hunting?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fair enough.
Don't mind.
Don't worry me a bit.
Fair enough.
Hunting may be cruel, but it's spectacular, and there's much that could be said in its favour, as a daring sport, a colourful tradition, as an active force for conservation in the countryside, but all this is lost on the saboteurs. Just as hunting people believe that the antis are from rent-a-mob, paid to disrupt by some anonymous and sinister organisation, so the saboteurs believe that the hunters are sadistic murderers, breeding foxes in order to kill them. There's bigotry on both sides, fuel for conflict wherever it occurs, utter opposition and mutual incomprehension. Powered by their convictions, the saboteurs go into action. The saboteurs are still ignored by the riders, but they're heading for trouble with the Hunt supporters who follow the sport on foot.
You're stupid. Look, honestly, I went today with the dog.
My dog was almost killed today, right? I did not buy those.
You can't accuse me of
Yes,
that.
you did. My dog almost got killed by
That's
one
right,
of
we
those.
see him do it, do we?
Now,
Can I point out a couple of things, but as a personal level, I
don't say that if anybody wants to fight you,
Oh,
I'll
no,
fight
I'm
you if
not
you want
asking
to
for.
fight.
I'm just saying that with these chaps over here, I'll be down there somewhere.
Of course you would,
Yeah.
because you haven't got the nerve.
What
But
do you mean,
I'm
no?
all
I'm a cad, I admit, I've got a yellow streak a mile wide, but why should I have to stand up to you? All we're doing is trying to save a few animals, and all you can do is
Why'd
come in
you
and
set-
edit.
why'd you
Fire
set
those
these
sets.
up?
I'm a vegetarian, mate. Would I go around setting snares?
Probably. You're that low.
I suppose I live in a council house and I'm unemployed as well, Marxist or
I
something.
don't know where you come from.
Well, they're not being
Well, I think we
are
need to
they?
just
They
move
are,
on.
it's
Perverted sadism.
And get going.
It is perverted
It's a
sadism.
sport that's
How can you
taken
take
place
pleasure
in
in
the,
killing something
it's
horrible?
a sport that's taken place in the country for years and years and
It's
years.
legalised murder.
It isn't legalised murder. What are you doing about Northern Ireland and such?
What are you doing?
What
are you doing about Northern
Ireland? Quite a lot, actually. Encouraging my children to enjoy the sports of the countryside,
Such
so
as
they're
tearing
not
up
out
foxes.
and killing other people.
Well, you can do things without killing other people or animals, like we do.
You're destructive and not
We are not being
constructive.
destructive. We are saving lives, stopping them from being murdered horribly. What do you do that's so constructive then? How do you help people who
I
really
am on
need
the
help?
local school PTA. I help the church.
What do you do for the people who really need help? The
But
homeless,
if you
the
help the
sick,
church, how can
the old? What
thou
do you do for
shalt
them?
not kill? Where does that come from?
I don't kill my fellow human beings.
Ah, but thou shalt not kill doesn't mean just human
So it's
beings.
alright to murder something that doesn't live up to your standards?
How do you
You don't think animals have
how
got
do you
rights?
eat? What do you eat?
Quite well. Vegan.
Vegetarian.
No animal stuff at all.
You don't eat anything at all.
No milk, eggs, cheese or anything.
You
Vegan.
don't even drink milk.
No. We don't have to kill and we don't have to... What's the word? Shit.
You see, with the hunt, you know them, they know us. They take a lot of trouble. And if anything goes wrong, we can pick up the phone in the evening and say, oh, there's a rail broken there or something like that, and they come and repair it the next day. But I mean, if the fences are broken down, who do we know who to contact? They won't tell you where they come from. Where do you come from?
I come from Tyson.
Pardon?
Tyson.
And what organisation are you with?
I'm with the rest of them, the HSA.
With the?
HSA.
Which is the?
Hunt Saboteurs.
And where's your headquarters?
In Tunbridge Wells.
I see. And who's your organiser?
A guy called Dave Wetton. Are you taking all this down?
and where does he live?
I've no idea.
And so you come out willy-nilly, not knowing really
No,
what the
not at all.
organisation
It's quite organised,
And have
really.
you got
but
a
the
map
reason
with you?
Yes, we have. We've
And-
got plenty
and-
of maps.
But why are you all over the
Well,
farm
the
and
reason
not
we
on
don't
the
let you know is
footpaths?
because if we probably let you know that we was going to be here, then you probably cancel the hunt.
So you know you're not wanted. And in spite of that, you come out and make yourself a nuisance all around the countryside.
Not really. I don't really put it like that.
No, that's the way we put it.
You terrorise animals and then you tear them up after you've terrorised
Have
them.
you seen the fox following the hunt, behind the hunt?
They don't follow it, they run away from it.
They don't. They're so clever that they usually, the hunt has gone across the field, and if you stand quietly back and watch, you see the fox gaily going across the field.
You see it going away from the hunt
You
before
also
it's
see
torn up.
gaily being dug out
So it
and have a
runs
shot
on,
put through it,
does
so don't you, at the end of the
The
day?
hunt wants to be tuned.
All part of the jolly fun, no
It's only
doubt.
a question
It's
of
all
keeping
sport,
them
that,
under,
though.
It's not, it's a question of keeping
Oh, it's
them
not
under
sport
control.
anymore.
Hunting doesn't keep them under control, as well you know.
Would you rather they were
It
gassed?
doesn't keep them under control at all.
Would
You
you
plant
rather
cover
they
so
were
that they...
How many foxes do you
there's-
account for in your six
Control
sport?
doesn't come into it. It is better animal husbandry.
9,000 out of 900,000. 1%.
It's just too pathetic to argue that because foxes kill chickens, you should kill foxes. It's just too pathetic.
Yes, but then you say you should shut our chickens up.
That's just
And
no
then
argument. You're just saying
You're
you
anti-intensive farming, aren't you?
Yes.
Well, what are you going to do with the chickens? Leave them out and the foxes eat them, shut them up, and then you're cross
It's
about
an
it.
unfortunate quirk of nature that foxes kill chickens. They don't kill all chickens. And if you didn't breed your foxes to kill chickens, then there wouldn't be too many foxes to kill chickens.
A fox is a very natural animal. He's got natural instincts.
For you to go around killing.
No, if he
It's
sees a
natural.
dog
It is
come into a
natural
wood,
for people to
fox
go
will
around
go.
killing foxes, is it? For sport. Sport means it's natural.
No, I don't think they do it for sport at all.
You do it just for whose benefit then? If it isn't for sport, they all look very happy riding around on their
Oh,
horses.
that's what they like. They like being out in the fresh air and
They're
countryside.
barbarous. They're just
and they like
bloody
gossip.
barbaric.
No, they don't. They're not. They're the most gentle people.
Oh,
They've all got
say
animals.
gentle
They've all got animals. They've all got cats and dogs.
Oh, how lovely.
Just killed two at once.
It's
They're very
frightening to
clever,
come near you.
aren't they? They're very
It's frightening
clever
to come
animals.
near anybody.
Well, they must be quite
So-
clever if they can escape from your
They're
lot
difficult
sometimes.
to kill outright. aren't
Exactly. You've proved
So
that
you-
point very well,
so
haven't
you
you?
half
You
kill a
chase it for
fox.
4 miles before you decide to kill it.
Why don't you do it humanely? Why don't you do it with a
what
bit
is
of
a
compassion?
humane way?
You know, gassing, if I have to say gassing, or shooting. I'd rather see a man take one
Yeah,
clean
but they
shot
can't kill them
instead of
outright.
chase it 4 miles across country and
We
just
never
harass
go
it.
4 miles, boy, don't be
Or
silly.
whatever, or so many miles across country, then find its earth blocked up. That's sport,
Well,
is it? And that's fair.
I'm just a farmer, and I think that this should happen. It's a natural thing.
Yeah, well, you know.
The hunt continue to play their part.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
The saboteurs continue to play theirs. But the game is about to take an uglier turn. A group of farm workers are determined to catch a few of the sabs on their own.
All of you! Why don't you fuck off?
Hey, look, you're on my land here, now get off before I sue the lot of you. I'm asking you please to get off my land. You mind?
You prove it's your land?
Yeah.
Go on then, prove it.
Right, come here.
Oh, prove it with your fist, eh?
Came under the viaduct there, took a look around, looking at the field, you know, this sort of thing. Decided to go back onto the road, and these 4 gentlemen here came running across under the viaduct, asked me to leave. I said, right, and I'm on my way. Okay, don't want any trouble. Then bang, right in the mouth. And then I headed off down here to sort out a couple of other lads. And unprovoked, totally unprovoked. We offered no, you know, aggro to them. But it happens, you know. That's what they're like. Bloodlust. Anybody's blood.
The fight is inconclusive, with both sides claiming a moral victory. As usual, the sabs have a few honourable bumps and bruises, and the presence of the film cameras may have prevented anything more serious. On other occasions, many Hunt saboteurs have ended up in hospital. The sabs have also had one of their frequent brushes with the law.
Please tipped away our anti-mate. Yeah?
Why do they do that?
Dunno. 2 guys checking names and address. What's in your pockets? Tipped it.
What reason did they give you?
I don't know. I don't think they gave any reason. Preventing a breach of the peace or something. It's pretty minimal, you know.
And a lot of people got their anti-mate chucked out. They confiscate, I don't know. Breach of the peace, that's it, breach of the peace.
Peaceful to go.
Yeah, so lost a lot of anti-mate, but we hid our
The saboteurs have had a hard day. Tired and bruised, they take consolation from the fact that the hunt haven't succeeded in catching a fox. But most of them know that they're nothing more than an irritant. It'll take more than aerosols and horn-blowing to put a stop to fox hunting.
Obviously, they go hunting, and we're going to go saboteuring. I'm going to kick that up until hunting's banned. And they're probably, if they're really dedicated to what they're doing, are going to carry on hunting. So I don't think any amount of arguing is going to change each other's opinion of the fact we're just going to keep going and we're just going to go to the end. But we're going to go out every Saturday, or as often as we can, and try and help the hunted animal, whether it be a fox, a hare, whatever.
I really don't like going out and getting wet and being uncomfortable and being hungry and cold, and it's just miserable, it really is. I'd much rather have a lay-in on a Saturday morning after a week's work, go and do the shopping, potter around the town. That's what I'd like to do, but I don't feel I can do that, so I go out and get wet and tired and cold and out of breath and just feel totally miserable at the end of a Saturday and not fit for anything on the Saturday evening. But it's necessary.
I've got a right to interfere because it's my wildlife just as much as it's their wildlife. I mean, you know, what right have they got to say that it's their fox, or it's their hare that they're coursing, or it's their deer that they're going to kill? I mean, you know, who's to say?
Apart from anything else, it may be on their land.
Well, it may be on their land, but all the same, it might be their land that they've bought, but they haven't bought the lives of the animals. They haven't bought the life of the deer or whatever it is. Why should they have the right to do that? I mean, why should they go out and purposely kill a fox or whatever? You know, I mean, it's just not on, really. It's just not right.